Hi there, I'm Tom Milligan. I'm a GP lead for the East Riding CCG and also a partner at Practice One in Bridlington. Today we're going to talk about delegation, and hopefully you'll know what we mean by that. And technically, it's the assignment of responsibility to another person for the purpose of carrying out specific job-related activities. Delegation overall is a shift in decision-making authority from one organisational level to another. As the world's getting more complex, we have more decisions to make, but still a limited number of hours in a day. We saw in the last video how decision fatigue can take you from being the best decision maker in the organisation to what happens when your brain has gone to jelly. The MDOs generally allow delegation so long as there's a process, you have audit data checking for safety. Remember, you're still responsible for your actions of your staff in terms of your indemnity. So this is the traditional model of decision making in a complex system. The graph shows a number of decisions taken by different individuals in a day. You can see how the majority of decisions are made by the main decision maker. In this case, this is the doctors. What we want to look at is what happens when the work is increased, and for example, if we have a busy day. The number of tasks soon begins to outweigh the ability to do them all. The only options we have left are working late or for working from home. But what happens if we're already doing these things? Are some jobs going to spill over to the next day? And what happens if that's a busy day too? In this situation, what we're doing is overlooking the capacity of the team. One of my GP trainers had been on a course about delegation about 10 years ago. They recognised even then that the workload was increasing. His approach was to go through his tasks and jobs and systematically ask members of the admin team to help him. No other GPs did this. Clearly, from the staff's point of view, this resulted in huge frustration as they were unclear of what the work was or where it was going to come from or how to do it or how to report back if there were problems. So there are better ways this can be implemented at organisational level. The first thing to make sure is you have a good team culture. This means praising staff when things go well and being a fair employer. The reason for any change should be rooted in the staff's internal motivations. This may include things like being safer or making the team more efficient, so there'll be less work for them to do, or they might be motivated by making an improvement to care for patients. This is the time to make sure there are no blockers to staff involvement. This may involve reassuring that they'll not have disciplinary consequences as a result of making a mistake, that you want to ensure that enough time for them to complete the extra work. Take some time out to find all the steps in the process as it currently is and how that impacts on other systems you have. This is a great opportunity to have a meeting with the staff involved, and that means you can co-design a solution to the problem. We recently had one of these with our nursing staff to decide how our organisation could best process HbA1c results. We now need to form some sort of protocol to reference what's expected from staff. When you implement, we need to have time for practice and learning. For our letters project we described earlier, we had 3 weeks of checking the decisions of staff processing these letters before we chose to go live. For smaller and less risky projects, this time can be smaller too. So this is the time now for positive feedback. If we see good behaviour from staff or things that we think will help, we need to let them know because then they're more likely to keep doing it. So if work has been delegated at organisational level, I think it's reasonable to expect the organisation to check on that work to make sure it's safe and being conducted to a good standard. In this way, feedback can be generated to further improve your system or stop doing it early if it's not working. Once staff are happy to do the work, the feedback can change to one of supportive but constructive criticism. Using this technique too early tends to ruin the plans. So what work could be delegated? Anything really that doesn't have to legally be done by a doctor, but just because it can be delegated doesn't necessarily mean that it should be. One area could be a simple decision using a protocol to make sure no steps are missed. This could include something like your reception staff taking all the necessary details around a death that's been reported to them. By delegating this responsibility, we'd find that we save on duplication because the doctor doesn't need to do the same work again. They could make the data available in the notes for the completing doctor. For this one, we did it in System 1 with a task template. So I hope this makes you feel more confident that you could suggest delegation at your next practice meeting. Starting with something small is always a winner. How about that project about getting the reception staff to log all the details for a death report? Okay, take care and I'll see you for the next video.